We move on to the next one. We got 2 games left, Vancouver and Anaheim. A lot of West Coast action. You got Calgary, a 9:05 Eastern, 6:05 Pacific start, and you've got a couple 10:05, 10:35 Eastern, 7:35, 7:05 Pacific starts in Anaheim and LA tonight. So lots of late night puck watching for you West Coast and for you late night folks on the East Coast. You know, I'll be watching. I never go to bed till 2 a.m. Eastern time. So I'll be watching these late night games as I always do. Vancouver, Anaheim, 11-12. We've got Anaheim minus 150 at home. Total 5.5 shaded to the under in this hockey game. And the Anaheim Ducks, man alive, what can this team possibly do to get the ship righted? I'm not sure at this point. You look at the problems this team continues to have consistently, snowballing all around them. And really, that is, to me, very disheartening what happened the other night. You come out storming against the LA Kings. Couldn't have asked for a better start. You've got 2 goals in, the first 10 minutes? There's that offense finally coming to life for the Anaheim Ducks. Looking like we might finally snap this losing streak and get back in the win column. But the LA Kings, give them credit. Stuck with it. Battled penalties, battled all kinds of things. It was a chippy game. It was back and forth. It was intense. But the LA Kings stuck with that hockey game, didn't let anything really get away from them, and they end up battling back, snatching that game away from the Anaheim Ducks, tying it, and then winning in overtime, and a disappointing overtime loss, 4-3 for the Anaheim Ducks, now extending their losing streak to 4 games. At least they showed signs offensively of perking up just a little bit. But as we all talked about, and I think a lot of us had LA that night, Alex, myself, Dana, on the LA Kings in that comeback win against Anaheim the other night. We're just worried about backing this Anaheim team right now. We all are. We've got our concerns. We've got our issues. John Gibson dealing with a concussion, questionable, and he hasn't even played all that consistently when he's been in there. Andre Kasha, a very underrated forward on this Anaheim team, left the last game with a head injury sustained against LA. Questionable for him to play tonight against Vancouver. In this hockey game. You've got, of course, the big ones are Getzlaf and Kessler, as we've talked about ad nauseum. Those 2 guys out for this team. We've talked about Cam Fowler missing time now. He's not back until next month with that knee injury. That hurts them big time on the back end. Puck moving, power play, penalty kill, all those situations. Cam Fowler's a big part of that for this Anaheim team. It's just a lot of injuries, a lot of key significant injuries where it's hard to replace Kesslers and Getzlafs and Fowlers on this team. And as a result, they're having trouble. And this is, say what you want about Vancouver. Are they a flawed team? For sure. But they work hard every night. They're definitely, from a talent perspective overall, not as good as Anaheim, but Anaheim's got too many injuries to deal with right now. Anaheim's got too many issues to deal with right now. I've had no interest, none, zero, laying minus 145 in this kind of range with the Anaheim Ducks right now, given all their problems. So if I had to, I'm looking at Vancouver as a dog here. Vancouver's going to give you that hard effort. They have not been overmatched in a lot of games this season. They've been right in pretty much every hockey game they've played. Got to give them credit for that. I think it's worth a bet, actually. I was on the fence, but now that I'm talking here, I'm talking myself into it. More and more. Vancouver makes some sense. I mean, you're going to get that effort from them, as long as they, to me, stay out of the penalty box, don't give Anaheim power plays, they should be fine. Henrik Sedin, finally got his first goal of the season Tuesday night. I think that's a weight of the world off his shoulders, the captain of the Canucks. Maybe it gets him going a little bit going into this hockey game tonight. So, again, it's a dire straits right now for this Anaheim Ducks team. Until they show me some semblance of putting a 60-minute performance together, that's not a price range I'm taking Anaheim in, laying this kind of price with them. Vancouver off a 5-3 win against Calgary, and they beat Pittsburgh at home 4-2 as well. So they've won 2 of their last 3 games. And I'm telling you what, this team, is definitely not loaded with offensive depth, but they're a lot better with a healthy Brock Besser on the ice. He's been good. I've been impressed with what I've seen from Brock Besser here on this Canucks team on a line with Horvat and Sven Berchi. It's been very impressive to watch them. Jake Virtanen's made more of an offensive impact this season so far as well. So as long as those 2 guys contributing, Bo Horvat, Besser, maybe Henrik Sedin's got a little bit of confidence again after finally scoring the other night. So I think there's cases to be made here for Vancouver at the underdog price. Certainly, I don't have many cases to make laying with Anaheim right now, not with their struggles. We've got Dana Lane with a thought and a bet on this game. Dana, what are you looking at here with the Canucks and the Ducks?
Yeah, it's a broken record for me on this. I mean, again, and this is going to be this way for a long time. As long as Ryan Getzlaf and Ryan Kessler are out of the lineup, they're top two centers. It's going to be very difficult for me to envision the Anaheim Ducks as a team that I can rely on as far as going over the total. I mean, Getzlaf could be out 3 months. He's got that fractured cheekbone. Kessler's on target to return sometime around Christmas. So this is going to be that situation for a very long time. And you talked about the Kings game where the Ducks come out and they get 3 on the board, finally give the game up eventually to the Kings. And I mean, they're getting goals from guys like Jared Boll. They're getting goals from Sammy Vatanen. I mean, Jared Boll is a guy that he's a fourth line winger, and Vatanen scored his first goal since last May. So I'm not really relying on these guys as far as when I look at the total to push me over. And let's not again overlook that loss to the Kings either. This is a game, believe me, that the Ducks wanted to win, a game that they circled on their calendar to resurrect their season. And what did they do? They dropped a heartbreaker. So it's very difficult for me to envision Anaheim playing an inspired brand of hockey tonight. Honestly, even in the manner in which they lost. I mean, they had a 3-1 lead going into that third period, and or a 3-2 lead going into the third, but it was a 3-1 game with less than a minute to go in the second. I just think the manner in which they lost that game, I don't envision this team coming out and playing better than they did against the Kings. And honestly, too, not only did they get beat in this game, the Kings thoroughly dominated Anaheim from that goal on. In fact, in the third period and in overtime, the Kings outshot Anaheim 22-7. It really was not. It was almost like the Ducks ran out of gas. So, in addition, we also know that the Ducks are going to be without Cam Fowler. They're going to be without Patrick Eaves, of course. And this is a team that already is 20th in the league in scoring. They're playing another team who's 24th in scoring. And normally, I would look at this situation and say, well, I like those dynamics to push this game over, but you can only kind of have that mindset if you feel like a team has the ability to do things. I mean, we could say, I had this discussion the other day about the Arizona Coyotes with somebody, and I said to him, I used them as an example because my conversation was, my friend said, hey, Team A needs to win tonight, and they're going to want to win. I said, want to win, and that's one word. Want to win is not a betting concept. If want to win was a betting concept, then every team would, you would not have teams like the Arizona Coyotes. So you do have to look at a specific squad and say, do they actually have the ability to come back and be better than they were in the game before? And I just don't know mentally where the Ducks will be in this one. It doesn't inspire me certainly to take the over. And Ryan Miller's going to get the start for the Canucks, and he's going to who took over for Gibson on Tuesday. And he's a guy that only has a save percentage of almost 95% in 5-on-5 situations and 929, 930 in shorthanded situations. So feel very confident with Ryan Miller in goal. So I'm going to go under the 5.5 of this game. I'm looking right now where you can get it minus $1.18 at Pinnacle. That looks like that's going to be the best number on the board.
Yeah, I think they're going to need Ryan Miller to come up heroic for them tonight, because I think there's going to be a problem pumping themselves back up to play and at their best and dominate the game territorially coming off that loss against LA. So this is a night where you need Miller to be strong, and he might be. This, again, a game against his former team, the Vancouver Canucks. You would expect him to be pumped up for it, put his best foot forward in this game. So if he does, you got a good chance to stay under. Vancouver's not your prototypical over team. We know this is one of the more weaker depth teams in the NHL in terms of offense. So Vancouver, for me, under for Dana. I think maybe pair those up. You might be doing something pretty good there. Or if you want to be a little bit safer, you could do a parlay with the total and Vancouver puck line there, plus 1.5 goals is if you care about that. It's going to be a tight game, though, low scoring, definitely. And I'm going to take a shot with Vancouver for certain at the plus price. It's worth it because, Anaheim in this price range with losing 4 in a row with all the injuries, you got to win and you got to pay this kind of price to ask them to win. No, thank you. So it's just on that alone, price point alone, going to be looking at Vancouver here as a dog.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to our channel. Now, we've put a lot of work into producing all these free videos, so please help us out and keep all our content free for you forever by simply liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Now, not to mention, a visit to our industry-leading website will warm the hearts of all our SBR employees, especially myself. Now, the links are over there to the left, so do check those out. Thanks for watching.